Bournemouth East.
Present.
Sevenoaks.
Present.
Southwest Norfolk.
Present.
Grantham and Stamford.
Present.
Feltham and Heston.
The religion is telling them to kill other people to spread Islam, and we can't let those people in our country.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Just
They're a our way of life still.
Either every single country in the world has no weapons of mass destruction, or every single country in the world has these weapons. And the thing is, one solution that is never going to come is everybody not having these.
helping others is not going off and bombing them. Helping others is providing aid.
We will show countries and peoples and states sit down that are threatening us or other members of the NATO alliance that we are here for them.
Remember that NATO spending target means that 2% of the GDP of the country needs to be spent on military. Okay? However, what you count as military spending is also part of this debate.
Honorable members of Parliament, we should wait until they are 18, once they are into college and getting in the flow of things. Then when they are 18, they could be more endorsed into the topics of government. Then they will be ready.
Assisted dying is suicide. Suicide is illegal, and it is illegal for a reason.
Allowing them to make the decision whether to end their life, it's not a decision made solely by them. It can be influenced by other things, like depression.
All in favor of tabling this debate until subcommittee, please raise your placard. Please raise your placards, raise them high, and keep them there.
We will be presenting, as mentioned, primarily amendments to the bill and the petition, so the right to die and the soda tax are our primary topics of discussion.
15-minute, 1-minute speaking time on the topic of possible problems with the bill. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Nay!
Okay.
It says national defense budgets cover essentially 3 categories of expenditures: personnel expenses and pensions, research, development, and procurement of defense equipment, and lastly, operations, exercises, and maintenance.
We are a party that is more popular with the younger people.
Yes.
And they are scared of that. And that's really their only argument. They have an irrational fear that they're just all going to be voted out of office.
16 and 17 make a massive voter base that we saw in the Scottish referendum. They enabled 16 and 17-year-olds to vote, and there was a massive turnout. We need numbers like that.
Less than half of the 18-year-olds in the UK actually end up voting.
My right honorable friend from Maidenhead, we're talking about 16-year-olds. These people already have plenty of adult, or like close to adult rights. These aren't just children.
So why don't we let them make the decision that will affect their lives and not try to decide it for them? Part of this bill, it states that not only we would change the voting age, but that we would beforehand educate everyone in schools about our government, how it works, how voting, how you should state your opinions, and all that type of thing. We believe that that is correct and that we need to keep the voting age at 18 and also beforehand educate everyone so they can have an accurate and strong vote.
If you care about this and you're educated about it, then you're going to vote.
There are no wrong votes.
If the issue is that 16 and 17 year-olds need to participate more in politics, then we can teach them more about politics through lectures and classes and get them ready for when they finally can vote.
All those in favor of a 12-minute unmoderated caucus, please say aye.
Aye!
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay!
The ayes have it.
Majority, whatever.
Yeah, but
Pass some.
Yeah, but these are the people of our future. They should be listening for everyone.
We'll make the 16 and 17-year-olds who want to vote be too bored about politics and have them want to vote when
Here's
they're 18.
another thing. We could make it optional. I learned about politics very young, and through my whole long life, I have never gotten bored of politics. Just get a different
You
person
are
than
your
that.
special case. Most of it's about education, honestly, like citizenship in the Constitution.
This one's establishing the 16th thing. This one's saying where it's going to work, and then this one talks about why and how we're going to do that. I know, I totally support the classroom, but I feel like you also have the right to vote. I understand that, but you're not going to get the right to vote with or without this amendment.
So we do have an amendment on the floor.
If members of the Labor Party are going to say that they are not allowed to vote on important things, just the things that don't matter as much, then I don't believe that this bill is built on their true intentions.
Now 16 and 17-year-olds, at least they have full voting power for like parliamentary general elections and stuff, but for referendums, they only have 1/4 of their original vote.
Okay, I'm sure you guys have all learned like American history. You know that like 3/5 compromise where they made like slave population work 3/5? Yeah. This is literally doing that. You're saying you can either have the entire thing, you cannot make the vote 1/4.
We are in the process of debating whether we would have a 70% confirmation and have the option for 6 or 3 months of death.
6 months should be the time where they get to choose whether or not to have it, and they have like 1 month of with their therapist like thinking about it and making sure the person is able to make that wise decision.
We definitely don't want society to think we approve of suicide. That's the main thing that we need to address.
Seeing this motion passes, and we're now in a 10-minute moderated caucus debating how to ascertain whether or not a person is criminally ill.
Have 3 independent doctors diagnose the patient, and if they all come to the same conclusion, then I think that we can be sure.
I cannot emphasize how much of a burden it is for the NHS to be killing these people who they have vowed to protect.
I'd like to read a quote. It's the Hippocratic Oath. I will not harm my patients knowingly, and I will help them. You really think that helping someone die, helping someone commit suicide is helping them?
A doctor's oath says that they should do no harm, but what if they are doing more harm by letting someone live? What if they are letting someone suffer instead of letting them go to a better place? And I'd like to remind all delegates that this is a decision purely made by the patient itself. The doctor will have no say in this.
We should have a therapist go in and try and see if they're suffering from any side effects, and if not, then it should be up to the patient. Thank you.
Dying is often very personal, and you're asking them to basically go before a court and tell that to like a panel of judges. We all know how complicated our government is. And I see around 6 doctors being required, 2 lawyers. This procedure could take quite a while. We do not need the added stress of this procedure upon the patient and their family.
And I would like to disagree with the point made by my right honorable friend from Whitney that it will not, in my opinion, increase rates of suicide. It's like saying, oh, by legalizing abortion, all pregnant women will go out and get abortion. It's just not true.
Before our guests came in, the entire committee was in agreement that this bill these amendments would pass this bill.
What has happened? You have all seemed to be going into the dark, as they say, not being enlightened.
I believe that giving freedom is best for the people. I believe that letting them not suffer is best for the people.
Killing the pain is better than killing the patient.
Killing the pain is not an option. Killing the pain will not work.
With palliative care, it wouldn't be painful.
That's the point.
It's not painful.
There are times in which palliative care would be appropriate, in which the relief of pain is possible. However, having the option to access assisted suicide is not having assisted suicide.
It's a choice, my friends, a choice. It is not required to kill yourself, but it is the choice that presents itself. It is the choice that what makes this bill a good bill.
It basically tells the rest of the country and will filter into new laws this new conception that life could be ended by the hand of a person, and that we consider that as a society that is fine.
Raise your placard now. All those opposed, raise your placard.
Boom! No.
This amendment fails 6-4.
Yeah! It failed, baby! It failed!
So, okay, here's 10% of the 2% GDP that we're paying is paid for pensions. So that's $400 million that could be going to Navy spending. It could be going to cybersecurity spending.
So for physical weaponry, I think we should spend 20% of the 2%. For research, and this includes technological research as well, I think we should spend 35%, as this is a really important part and NATO encourages modernization.
1/5 of kids go hungry, whereas 1/5 of kids are obese. There's something wrong with this system. People, please, spend the money on something valuable and not the trident, which we will never, ever use. Thank you. If anything, the trident is our magical force field. It deters, therefore it creates peace.
If we're actually bombed, how can we use a psychological weapon?
They send over one of their missiles over to us, then 10 more of ours will be sent over to them.
People don't mess with people who have big nuclear guns on their submarines.
Terrorists will not care. They are not fighting for a country, they are fighting for an idea.
If ISIS were to get a nuke, we should be able to defend against them.
This is not a debate on the ethics of nuclear weapons.
What I want to do is not include the pensions because they do not deter and resolve crime. They are important, and I cannot stress this enough, they are important, but we do not want to include it in the 2% because they do not deter and resolve conflicts.
Debate is now closed on the NATO bill. All in favor of passing this amendment, please raise your placards. No. 15-1, this amendment passes.
We've been working on some amendments to the bill. One is, like he said, if they'll be deported instead of a prison sentence, and that is if the prison sentence is 3 years or more. And then another one is that EU and Commonwealth citizens are not deported even if they're facing a prison sentence.
If it's a EU citizen, then the citizen will be sent back to their EU country and then given the prison sentence that they deserve.
I don't think the other countries will appreciate that very much if we continuously send them all the people who have been doing bad things in England.
So for any crime sentence less than 6 months or a year, you serve the crime sentence and you do not get deported.
Are there any points or motions on the floor? Manchester Central?
We have a very
There's
simple
like
amendment, and we think that this would be great and would stop a lot of discrimination. We don't want to have basically the UK citizens, the normal ones,
EU and Commonwealth.
in completely different eyes than the immigrants.
They will not be deported until they turn 18. And if they turn 18 and they have already served their prison sentence, they will not be deported.
All those in favor, please raise your placards now.
All those in favor?
Come on, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This amendment clearly passes. All right. Motion is
1 in every 5 children in the United Kingdom is obese. That is absurd. And you know what the cause of most of it is? Sugary/fizzy drinks.
The small way we can improve this while not as significant as hoped is through a tax on sugary drinks.
It will be a small tax. It will not stop anything on the buying of sugary drinks.
Obesity actually shortens lifespan. As the UK government, it is our job to make sure that the UK is safe and healthy.
Heart attacks are also highly likely.
32 to 50 grams of sugar added, and past that, we tax them.
1. The EU to grant permission for the UK to have more control and sovereignty
over its borders. 2, a new immigration and national security system for the UK. And 3, that the UK not be bound by the obligation to allow free movement of people into the country.
All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your placards now. 13 to 2 to 1, this passes. Great. So having amended both bills, we will now be working on the petition. I will open the floor up to debate.
The phrase, until ISIS is defeated, is extremely vague. ISIS will take a long time to be defeated.
Madam Speaker, we must remember that the United Kingdom is a nation of immigrants. That over time, we have been invaded and that each wave of immigrants have become part of the fabric of this nation.
Tourism is 9% of our GDP. So, we're concerned for the safety of our people.
Close the borders until ISIS is defeated. ISIS will take a while to defeat. We just can't stop all of our industries that are coming through our country. It doesn't work like that.
Any points or motions?
Motion to introduce the bill.
That's in order.
A petition for the reform of the sovereignty of the borders of the United Kingdom. The only situation in which a citizen of one of these countries may immigrate to the United Kingdom is with official approval from Her Majesty's government.
Syria, Palestine, Niger, Lebanon, Madagascar, Yemen, Cuba, Iran, Iraq, Zambia.
1, there are countries that are in the middle of conflict. As well, there are countries that are under oppressive rule. And that tends to spark a certain terroristic side of people in those countries.
And there will be a zero-tolerance policy towards terroristic threats, and all people with terroristic charges on their records will never be allowed to travel in the UK.
Unmoderated comments before each bill, and then we will proceed to a final vote every time we conclude debate on bill. So, debate, voting, on mod. Okay. We're going to begin with the NATO defense spending bill, and I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to get your ducks in a row in order to have productive debate.
We should all be for it. It basically breaks down what the 2% is in a really good way, and we have majority, so we can do this if everybody stays on policy and votes with the party.
So Ted and I are going to do the NATO bill.
Yes, we will do that.
I'll do the EU one. I'll do the foreign offenders or voting right.
All right, great.
Let's go.
The House, we're going to get started.
The bill basically, as you all know, discussed the fact that we would be paying 2% of our GDP towards our military, or in our military spending. So the defense budget will be broken down into the following categories: operating costs, physical weaponry and equipment, research, and research includes technological research and cyber warfare.
All those members of Parliament who wish to vote for the NATO defense expenditure bill as it stands right now, please raise your placards. Okay, by a vote of 36 to 6, 0 abstentions, this bill passes.
Does anyone like the immigration system now? I think it is fine. I mean,
No.
like, not necessarily, but it's okay.
No. Okay. All those opposed? Keep your eyes closed.
Oh, sorry.
All those opposed? All those abstaining? Okay. Eliza, now your new leader again.
So basically, first day I was deputy, Eliza was leader. I overthrew her, and now she has overthrown me. Because they are all off their posts.
Wait.
They believe that once she took power, the Labour Party became divided, and that the Conservative Party started stomping them.
We'll now proceed to a debate on the foreign national offenders exclusion from the UK bill.
So basically, we sort of just cleared it all up because
We made
it was
a bunch
all,
of guidelines, basically.
Yeah, because it was so vague. So basically, what we did was we said that it will serve instead of a prison sentence. But and then we sort of defined all the terms that are undefined in there, such as what a qualifying offense is. And so we decided on someone facing a jail sentence of over 7 years.
There isn't much opposition or any opposition.
I don't think there is any opposition.
This bill is a very good bill.
The United Kingdom is generally a welcoming country. But when foreign nationals come here, receive our hospitality, and then put citizens of the United Kingdom at risk and put our country at risk, they should not be allowed back. And our taxes should not pay for their imprisonment.
Vote for the foreign national offenders exclusion from the UK bill. Please raise your placards at this time. Raise them, hit them high, people. clearly passes.
We lowered the voting age to 16 and 17-year-olds. But now, Honorable Speaker, the Conservative Party has cut off half of our bill. Half of the most important clauses of our bill.
We proposed an amendment which basically struck all clauses having to do with lowering the voting age. But still, in that bill, it talks about educating our youth and our citizens.
And I would encourage everyone to focus less on what happened to the bill and focus on whether you are in support of how the bill stands now.
But if we're not letting younger people be represented in our government, then we're not doing that. So I urge you to vote no on this bill. Thank you.
The 16-year-olds, if they're going to vote, they need to be educated first.
We are entrusting teachers with our future. So many different parts of our education system have the possibility to be politically charged. If we cannot trust our teachers with unbiasedly teaching politics, then we cannot trust our teachers with teaching, period.
All those wishing to vote for the bill, please stand now.
Come on, guys.
We are in favor of this bill. Voting yes on this bill, please stand. And please raise your placards if you have to. All those against this bill, please stand.
That's against policy. I'm gonna abstain. That's against policy.
So, by a vote of 25 to 11 with 4 abstentions, this bill passes. 5 minutes before the assisted dying bill, the last bill in our roster.
In Washington State in the United States, they do have similar laws that do allow a patient to engage in assisted suicide. 59% of those people who went down this path reported that they did it because they felt that they were a burden on their family and friends. They did not do it because they didn't want to end suffering. They did it because they felt they were a burden.
The process that was entailed in this bill took over a year, required 4 doctors, 2 lawyers, and 2 therapists. Is this really what we want? Shortly after that, this bill was struck down by the majority of the sponsors of the original bill.
You don't let mentally ill people decide whether they want to commit suicide.
We value one thing above all else, and that is freedom.
They might have 6 months left, but we are still going to do our best to keep them alive no matter what that takes. We should not let them die.
Well, what if these people believe it is their time, Mr. Speaker? We are giving them the choice to end the pain that they have been suffering, giving them the choice to die quickly and painlessly. We are not giving up on them.
If you're voting for this bill. All those voting against this bill, please stand and hold up your placard. So by a vote of 13 to 26 with 2 abstentions, this bill clearly fails. Okay, we'll do a voice vote. All those wishing to suspend debate until our next session of Parliament, please say aye. Aye. All those against say nay.